Okay, again, welcome everybody. Jeff Sailing from Startup MV. Today we've got a great and very topical and near and dear to my heart topic about how to do a great pitch and what you ought to be building as a founder. And before we get into Kevin and the presentation for today, I just wanted to make an announcement. Startup MV is putting on the Southern Nevada Angel Conference. The city of Las Vegas is giving us Las Vegas City Hall and Las Vegas City Hall Council chambers to hold our event, where we're going to educate some angels and some early stage investors on how to form up groups so that they can invest in our Nevada-based businesses. And we're also going to have a track for founders about how to present and how to sort of access those angels and how to make a great impression. So if you're interested in the conference, you can see the URL up there in the right-hand corner. It's startupmv.org. You can either go to the Venture Conference page or to the SNAC page, the Southern Nevada Angel Conference, and learn more about how to enter to pitch if you're a founder, or how to sign up to learn how to form an angel group if you're an angel. So it's up, it's live, it's ready to go. So having said all of that, I'm going to change the screens now and kill this wonderful music that you are hearing.
Bummer.
Today we're going to hear from Kevin Lyons. He's going to talk about a bunch of different things, and then you get to ask him anything at the end, which is awesome. But mostly, we're going to kick it off with how to make a great pitch, what you should include, what you shouldn't, what kinds of things you got to be working on as founders. Kevin and I have known each other for a couple of years now, and been through a couple of this same topic. And certainly, as someone who hears a lot of pitches at Startup MV, I'm really anxious for folks to start learning this and sort of absorbing it and getting better at it. So with no further ado, please give a warm welcome to Kevin Lyons.
Thank you. Thanks everyone for coming this afternoon. So I'll be talking about what investors care about, because that's what you're going to pitch them. But there's really a lot more to that. I was trying to think of a good way to explain. I don't have a ton of slides because I think it's just a small enough group. There's some interaction, maybe some role playing. I was trying to figure what do I need to do? Right? That's a very common question. What do I need to do to get investors excited or whatever, or to do a startup in general? I was coming up with this kind of crappy story. And by the way, I'm going to try to keep the language okay today. You have some youths in the room, so thanks for coming. When I slip up, I'll feel even worse. So, if someone says to you, "Hey, how do you go to the moon?" Right? Okay. Well, if you ask me, how do you go to the moon? Well, you build a rocket and you put enough fuel in it to make sure that you're going to get to the moon, right? And then you launch. And that may sound kind of dumb, but what's interesting is a lot can go wrong after you launch the rocket. You may not get to the moon and so on, right? But it also tells you certain things that you have to do if you have any hope of getting to the moon, right? Like you probably ought to have a rocket, that is designed to get there, and you better put enough fuel in it, right? So you don't run out. You can calculate those things before you do anything. And so my half-baked analogy is very similar to the startups, which is, you want to do a startup. That means you're trying to build a business that's going to sell stuff to people. Well, I've still never seen a better statement of what your one job, which is make something people want. Right? And there's a lot that goes into that. There's a ton that goes into that, just like the rocket and the actual trip to the moon. But that's really it. And the best investors are looking to invest in somebody that is going to make something people want. It's that simple. And they're going to look for evidence that you're making something people want. And they're going to drill into how badly they want it, and why they want it, and why only you can give it to them, and so on, right? Pretty simple stuff. I'm a big simplifier. And if you just focus on that the whole time, eventually you're going to get there. What your original idea is, or what you think is a great idea, rule of thumb is 50% of it's crap. It's going to be wrong. No good idea survives first contact with customer. A very good rule of thumb. So in general, I have some resources I'll share, but who has not heard of Y Combinator before today? See some hands? Okay. Yeah, so basically, Y Combinator is the ultimate resource for startups. Not only do they have a full startup school that's free that anyone can join, which you should join. I think it starts next month, the end of this month. So anyone who's in a startup, write that down, Google it, very easy to find. Y Combinator is a kind of the original accelerator. They invest in, it's up to over 100 companies now, 150 companies every 6 months. Small amount of money, they put them through a program, they meet once a week. And they get thousands of people applying each term. So they've actually invested in several thousand companies, and they've seen tens of thousands of companies. So they've built out the best pattern recognition in the entire startup world, in my opinion, based on what they see. The number of founders, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they can tell you 2 to 3 is their best number. Really hard to do stuff on your own and so on. All the way through the whole process, and they've been going upscale. Now they have a Series A program, they have so on. So anyway, Y Combinator, YC Resources. If I say anything that disagrees with something on YC Resources, go with them. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's not, you know, I'm going to regurgitate a start of stuff that I picked up from them and elsewhere over the years, but that's it. Okay, so this is the big story right here. What are you doing? What are you working on, right? That's the question. And why? Before you get anything. Usually it's, oh, I'm working on this thing, I have this idea, I want to do this thing, right? Guess what? No one cares what you want. Literally, no one cares what you want to do. But it's a great idea. Let me tell you about it. I'm not even qualified to judge your idea. You know who is? Customers, exactly. Yeah. So, and this is funny because these examples, even my own startup, we pitched to, we didn't pitch, we submitted to an angel group as an experiment, and I got some inside intel. My startup, we sell basically survey software to local governments. We get community input for them very fast. And someone sitting in the room, you know, as an investor, is like, oh, well, I just don't think governments will buy this. Right? This is like the 20-year-old way of, well, I'm just going to have to figure out in my head if this is a good idea or not. So they kind of ignored the slide where 7 out of the first 9 governments contacted bought it. Right? So what are you going to do? Go with what the model in your head or what the real world's telling you? Anyone know the Swiss Army proverb? When the map and the terrain disagree, trust the terrain. Seem like a good rule of thumb? Okay. That's all you need to know. I'm done. Like literally, drop the mic. The terrain is your customers. Right? You think you got a great idea, you want to convince them of something, blah, blah, blah. If they're not buying it, you got a problem. You know, it's not like, hey, do you like this? Is this cool? Okay, great. Will you pay me $100 for it? Oh, well, actually, no. You can't lose at that point. Get aggressive on that one. Okay, well, why not? What would it have to do to be worth $100 to you? And then perk up. They're going to tell you. Or they're going to tell you, yeah, do it, buy it right now. Great, take an order. Right? So the magic of what Y Combinator does is they basically, you go in and they say, okay, you got one job in the next 3 months, double your sales. That's your one job. Anything you're not doing towards that, that's fine. I'll get to why that's important. Or with pre-orders. You got this great idea? Great, go get an order. Prove that anyone gives a crap. I self-edited there. I don't know if that. But that's basically the game. Okay, so no one cares what you want. Everyone cares what customers want. You should, because it's your time and money first. Investors care. That's all they care about, ultimately, because they're the ones that have to pay for everything. So the question is, are you doing this? This is really it, right? Venn diagram, not touching, bad. Bad. And this is where you start out, by the way. Almost always, right? I tell the story. I just love the Airbnb story so much. But You know, I'm going to, I've got the worst idea in the world for a startup. I'm going to rent an airbed in my house to a stranger. Who's in? Who's ready? Get the checkbooks out, people. Right? Dumbest idea in the world. Very famous investor who has one of the highest performing funds of all time told them, this is the worst idea I have ever heard. People will get raped and murdered. I'm not investing in this, right? So Airbnb is only worth like $40 billion today. That's how they started, at Airbnb. Now you know the name if you didn't already, right? Air bed and breakfast is what it was. But they evolved from that because they went and embedded. They actually went to Y Combinator and they said, go meet your customers. I said, okay. No, I mean, go literally live with your customers.
No.
Right? And they did. They embedded with their customers, learned why people were doing this, what the profile was, who were the people that came and used the stuff, and they got to know them. And this is another one of their great rules of thumb. You got to make something that a few people love, not something that a lot of people sort of like. Super important because you got to get it to that point where you are making something that is amazing. It's got to be 10 times better. Otherwise, it's too hard to sell. Okay. So obviously, this is where you need to be, right? No one expects you to do something you don't want to do, but it's got to be something customers want. And ultimately, this is the entire framework for everything you do. Investors are trying to figure this out. You're trying to figure this out. Your customers are trying to figure out if you're making something people want, right? You cold call someone. Hey, this is Kevin from Flashvote. The reason I'm calling is we do blah, 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 blah. And they did no idea who you are. What, you know, can you help me or not? That's all they care about. Make sense? All right, cool. Okay, so in that mindset, what do you guys want to learn and discuss today besides what's on the agenda? Throw it out.
So you're talking about companies that are kind of have a product and want to improve sales. What about the companies that don't have any sales?
So that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about pre-product. The worst case.
I'm not talking about. Like,
yeah.
I'm talking about like some of the big unicorns like Facebook and all. These companies made no money for years and years and years, and they grew up into multi-billion-dollar companies. So
we'll talk about whether they work.
Investors want. Okay, we want proof that this works and that there's similar products, and usually there's not if you're really innovative. And a lot of these big companies, you know, they're saying, "Oh, do all this stuff," but then if you look at some of the largest companies, they haven't done that at all.
You mean the companies that are out there right now?
Right. The companies. That
okay, so you want to know how did companies get big without doing this?
Yeah.
Okay, good. What else? Yeah, sure. I'll go around. Yeah.
I've made a number of unsuccessful pitches, so I thought I'd see if you had any good ideas.
Okay. Can't promise good ideas. I could just tell you what I think I know. All right, so basically you're looking for, I'm going to put this down for a second. Is that right? So we had how did big companies succeed without doing it? And then what was yours?
Mine would be, what do I have to fix in the pitch?
Okay, what to fix in a pitch? Okay, and if yours is already mentioned, that's fine. Anyone else? Yeah, I'll go around systematically just to make sure I hit everybody. Go ahead. And anything here? Anything you want to know, talk about, learn about? Going. Yes.
I'd kind of like to hear because there's a lot of you should do this, you should do it that way. I'd like to hear some examples of when you've seen kind of something break the norm and then dig into that a little bit.
Okay. All right, and break the norm in terms of achieving what? Anything?
Well, like if you look on Y Combinator, you got to go in this order. Or here's an example pitch deck, or here's you've only got 10 seconds to grab attention.
Yes.
But here's a different idea. Here's something that was outside the norm. Just because trends change, and I think if everybody's following that exact same thing, might get tiresome, and there might be a great idea hidden in a formulaic.
So we have a game theorist in the room, right? If everyone's zagging, you need to zig, potentially. Okay, we'll talk about that. There's certain things that don't change, but there are some twists on that. Anything going in the back? Anyone? Bueller? Yes.
I want to hear the deadly sins of pitching, but you should.
Oh, okay. Anything else? Keep going. Throw it out. I'm not judging. I'm just taking notes. I'll judge you later. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
We're looking for, we were talking about we're in the process of trying to find some beta testers and some initial customers, but we don't have a full product yet.
Yep.
So I'd like to see a little bit on how you get that accomplished. I think we talked about the government contract, 9 out of 9 people that saw it liked it. We're gonna be somewhere around there as opposed to going out and getting 100 customers.
Early stage pitching
Yeah.
or a story.
For
Yeah.
pitching your beta testers, because we're gonna have to ask them to.
Oh, okay. So
Surveys, that kind of thing.
yeah, so in pitching customers basically, which is way more important. Yeah, a lot of people think of fundraising and a milestone. It's actually not. The milestone is revenues, customers, happy customers, and so on. Yes. Anyone else going along? Throw it out. Yes, sir.
How do you find out if a private investor is for real?
Yeah, good. That's a great question. Yeah, one of the easiest ways, since it's such a simple thing, ask them, tell me about your last 3 checks you wrote and when. Right? And most people go, they're full of crap. Crap, see, I did it again. Is that, okay, sorry. Yes, that's actually an improvement for me.
Me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. A lot of things that I see with venture cap and even Y Combinator, like you said, the magic number is 2 to 3 co-founders. What advice do you have for solo founders who already have revenue and already have business?
Mm-hmm.
Who want to grow it?
Yeah, keep doing what you're doing. Avoid investors. Yes.
A new product idea may not be an initial hit because it's such a new concept and it may be expensive and or complex. And if you did get going, it would have to be an educational or evangelical sale. So how do you get feedback on something that takes time to explain to somebody?
Yeah, so that's okay. So this is basically kind of too early, too late, kind of thing.
Well, it's just that it's complex. It's a long, it takes time to explain it well enough that somebody could give you a decent.
Okay. So I guess and there's a short answer here, which is if you can't explain it, you're not ready to sell it, because your customer will actually explain it to you. But I also had a great example where I was talking with a very smart VC years and years ago, my first startup, and he said, you're either too early or too late, and either one's a problem. If they're not ready to buy, you're not ready to sell, unfortunately, usually. Unless it's this thing where you get them over a hump. Magic moment. Anyone else back here? I think.
When to focus on mission and value statements?
Okay. Short answer is never. But there's a kernel in there. Okay. Anything else? Make sure we cover these. We'll come back at the end if we haven't. Okay. Cool. All right. So all I did is, anyone want to sell me a pen? I'm going to do this. Who hasn't sold me a pen?
You're free.
You got a pen?
Yeah.
All right, good. Who wants to sell me a pen? I don't care if you make a hash of it. Okay, great. Here, sell me a pen.
So this come up to you.
Yeah, perfect. Go and get camera. Right, exactly. All right. This is how we do it. I met Jeff at a pre-accelerator thing. I've been doing at Adam's Hub periodically. And she's going to sell me a pen.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to role play with the customer interviews too as well. Okay, yes. How you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Good.
Have you ever had the problem where you go to write something and you're like, damn, the ink and your pen is just falling apart, but you're saying, God, I just want a pen that rolls effortlessly across the paper. It lasts forever. It doesn't smear when you touch it. Is that something that you've ever thought about having?
No, I use pencils.
Why do you use pencils?
Well, because they don't run out of ink. You can see how much ink's left.
So when you've used a pencil before, have you ever had it break in the middle of a very important test?
I have.
So in the real world, then, it would be great to have some sort of instrument that you knew would not break on you. It was reliable, it was there 24/7, and it's actually pretty inexpensive. What do you think about that?
That sounds interesting.
Well, let me present to you this good gold pen. What's so amazing about it is it's packaged 6 to a box. The reason
That's
is,
amazing.
it is amazing. Why? Because we realize that from research that most people need a pen with 5 of their key friends.
Okay.
And therefore, it's not just for you, it's the great ability to share.
So it's like it's like Facebook for pens.
Exactly.
Okay. All right, excellent. How did she do, by the way? Well, she did great. All right, thank you so much. All right. So, what did she do that you liked?
He was enthusiastic.
Okay, enthusiastic, sure. What else? Turn an objection around, yeah.
She asked why.
Ah! Right? So what's the thing that most everyone does with a pen?
Right.
Show up and throw up, they call it in sales. Hey, I got this pen, it's awesome, it does this and that and this and that, right? This is, admit, we all were gonna do that. And what I still was able to do with her is she went into that a little bit. That was like one of the best ones anyone's ever done on a first shot. She didn't ask if I used pens, right? Like, so if I was going to sell you the pen, I'd say, hey, do you use pens? No. Right? You do? Okay, great. Tell me about the best experience you ever had with a pen. We got some of that, right? How about the worst experience you've ever had with a pen? Okay. Well, have you heard of the Penomatic 10,000? It does exactly what you want and nothing that you don't want, right? And that's the process you're going through with your product.
You're looking for a problem to solve.
You're looking for a problem, so not just a problem even, but you're looking for pain. The saying is, you know, the hair on fire, the bleeding neck. You know, if your hair is on fire and I have a fire extinguisher, you know, like what brand is that? No, give me the freaking fire extinguisher. You know, like bleeding neck. Who makes those bandages? You know, what color? No, just right. That's really what you're looking for. And you know, if I need a pen, the cheeky way of doing the pen is, you know, hey, I want you to sign this check for you or something, or endorse this check. Okay, that's fine. Right? But there's a need there. That's the thing, like an urgent, pressing need. Why do they have to buy from now? You know, from you now, right? That's your whole thing. Again, I'm not talking about the pitch so much as that's what has to come through in the pitch, because you have to know the answers to that. Cool. Thanks. This is your pen, right? No, it's your pen. Thank you. Cool. So, the reason I'm telling you that again is because there's stages that you're going to find yourself wherever you are with a business. This is, you know, I think I want to be an entrepreneur. Get in or out of that quickly. Okay? That's like I'm unemployed, I'm a consultant, whatever. No. Because by the way, entrepreneur, it's really freaking hard. It's like the worst. There was a saying like the entrepreneurs are like over optimistic because if they knew what they were going to answer, they'd never do it. There's truth to that. And I find myself wanting to kick my own butt, you know, on the okay, so here's where most people, like I have an idea, like actually something I'm excited about. Again, maybe no one else gives a crap, but something customers might want. Really important. So at that phase, to be blunt, no one cares. Your idea is worth $1. Right? You can split that up into, you know, if you want investors to give you 20 cents, maybe you can work something there. It's all about turning that into actually specs. And the rule of thumb in software is you got to talk with 20 customers before you write a line of code. All right? Anyone heard the word Pretotyping? No, excellent. Yes, you did because I told you. Perfect. All right, who's heard of prototyping? Yeah, we're all excited about prototyping, right? Like building something and then giving it to people. So there's a good talk on pretotyping. A guy at Google gave it. But some of the classic examples, pretotyping is actually testing the value before you even do anything. So the guy is, there's enough people, I'll make a Palm Pilot reference. Remember the Palm Pilot? Like kind of the breakthrough personal device. So the inventor of the Palm Pilot literally walked around with a block of wood that he had painted. And he practiced, like, would I do this? You know, oh, I just met you. Sorry, what was your name? Okay. And he like practiced testing what it would be like to enter stuff. And he made changes based on that. Oh, you know, this button needs to be here. It's used twice as much as this button, right? He didn't have to write any code. He didn't have to get anything made in China. He was testing the usability of the thing. Better example is IBM and voice activated, right? We still have it today. It's still kind of clunky. So back in the 60s, they basically gave someone a microphone just like this. They said, hey, you know, let's do this voice to text thing. That sounds awesome. So the microphone, there's a screen there. Try it out. guy's talking and words are appearing on the screen. And what they've done is they had the microphone go to a room and there's a very fast typist in the next room and the words show up on the screen. Super simple. And what they learned is from testing is that it didn't work. Like the guy, this was awkward talking like to a microphone and thinking about what I'm saying. You know, it just didn't do what they hoped it would do. So the idea with pretotyping is you don't need to write any code. You're going to test the value of your offering with customers. And you're going to learn what they actually value from doing that. Because I'll tell you what happens is people build something and then they talk with customers. And half of it's going to be wasted time, crap, junk, or the whole thing might be a waste. When I was at Adam's Hub doing a little mentoring program there, this really nice woman came in and said, hey, I've got this thing and been working on it for a year. It was a beautiful website and I was going to do this thing for I think lake houses. Super nice. She quit her job. She worked on this beautiful website. Okay, well, how many realtors have you talked with about this? Who are your customers, right? 0. Okay, your homework is go talk with 20 realtors. So she went and she came back a month later and she talked with 7. And what happened? Well, none of them won it. So that could have been found out day 1. Should have been found out day 1. And that's one of the most painful things about working with startups is they get so far along or they get in their head and they never bothered to figure out what is this? And that's where it comes in, the $100, $200. Oh, what are you doing? Oh, I make this. Okay, great. Do you want it? For $200? No. Oh. What would it make it worth it, right? And then can you do it and so on? It's hard. Okay. So I think there's a customer, a company-wide combinator. They were going to do something like, it wasn't like nuclear fusion, but it was one of these things where you're like, oh, we're going to use AI to do this huge, hairy thing that's really hard. And they couldn't build that in 3 months, right? So what did they do? Well, they went and got pre-orders from people. If we can build X, right? If we can build this thing that does X, Y, Z, A, B, C, these specs, these tolerances, right? This error rate. That's what you're talking about. That's the point of the pre-order. Will you buy it? Yeah, I'll buy it. Okay, for real? Sign this. If we build this thing, you're going to buy it. Yeah, right? Like, that's the reaction. Yeah, if you can build that, hell yeah, I'll buy 10. Right? That's what you're looking for. So they did this, and they got something like $40 million in pre-orders in 3 months. That's what you're looking for. Right? How do you get an investor interested? By the way, I didn't tell you what they do. You're already interested in that company, right? What do you do? We have $40 million in pre-orders. Does it matter what they do? No. Does it matter that you understand what they do? What matters? The customers think it's unbelievable, right? Now, there's a risk. There may be a technical risk. They may not be able to build it, but they have pre-orders. Okay, so that's the thing. And that's really like, can I build it? So not only do I know what people want, I can actually build it. And I've sold it after that. Everything before here is pre-sale. And frankly, everything before here is uninvestable, right? You got to know, you got to have real proof that you're making something people want. That could be by selling it to them actually, or it could be earlier stage for bigger products. You don't need pre-orders for a cure for cancer, right? That's the saying, but it's also really hard. So, most products that you're dealing with are not like technically off the charts. It's more about does a customer need you're drilling onto. Okay, so after that, can I sell it? By the way, I can create $1 billion business tomorrow. So there is this thing about, well, my sales, they're great, I'm growing. Anyone know what that business is? I will sell you dollar bills for 95 cents. How many do you want? Right? You want every single one I have. So what? It's not a business. There are people that argue that Lyft and Uber are doing that. There are people that argue WeWork is doing that, right? So to the point about losing money, big companies, some of them do that to get market share, like Amazon. But normally No, the best businesses are selling dollar bills that they buy for 10 cents, for $1, right? Okay. So there are your stages. What do you need to do? I mentioned this, you got to pretotype if you're at the idea stage. It's cheap. There's no excuse for not doing it. You can do it online. You can buy traffic on Google and send them to a product page. Notify me when it's available. Then you can actually make the thing and make sure you can deliver the goods. Can I make it? Can I sell it? Can I sell it profitably? Can I sell a lot of it? Right? Now you're in the investable, scalable business. Okay. Make sense so far? Questions? All right, good.
Oh,
Yes.
during this, you're going to get feedback from customers and prospects. I mean, that can be used to, improve your product. So how does that dynamic work?
Yeah, so that is literally customer interviews, like I'm talking about. So, hey, do you have a problem with X? So when we were developing our product, it's a two-sided market. So we have residents, how do you get residents, citizens to answer surveys who don't have to take surveys? Part two is governments want the data. They want to get the feedback, and true feedback. And so we'd spend 18 months iterating, face to face, watch their eyes, look for their pupils dilating, watch for there's no excuse, no better way to get that data. So we did this with residents. We got this thing that they love doing. They would actually do it, take it, come back, do it again. And so I had this list of things that I knew residents like, and I go in and I sit down with a woman at accounting nearby, and I go, hey, we do A, we do B, we do C, we do E, right? And she's like, play. Okay. And finally I'm getting I'm like, oh, well, we'll write the questions for it. You write the questions? That would be awesome. Right? So what was my next pitch? What do you do? Well, we write the questions for you. Is that interesting? Oh my God, what else do you do? Right? That's the iteration. You're going to start out with a list of stuff you think is important. By the way, this is something you can tell in a pitch deck. When you tell me I do 6 things, I know you have no idea what you should be doing. It's kind of obvious when I put it that way, right? Oh, we can do this, we can do this, we can do this. You have no idea what you should be doing. Yes. Customers haven't told me which of these 6 things, if any, matter. So don't do that. That's one of those deadly sins. And don't give a pitch that I could give. In other words, if I can read your bullets, because what did you learn from talking with customers? I can't answer that. No one else can. You can. Oh, well, we started out, we thought this. I just told you, gave me an example. Well, we thought this was important to them, and then we learned this was. And then we got an order. Right? That's the story. That's the learning. Will you make something people want? Doesn't even have to be today, exactly. But you're going to get better over time. Okay. So each of those stages, there's clearly something you need to do. Why do I bring up these stages? A lot of these are pre-investment. But ultimately, back to Paul Graham, the Y Combinator founder. Read all his essays. Don't filter them, just read them all. There's only 2 things you should be doing at any point in time. Talking to your users or building your product. By the way, where does this fit in for me? Am I talking to users or building my product? I shouldn't be doing this.
Thank you.
Free sandwiches. Free sandwiches. You got to eat, right? Maybe. No, but this is your rule of thumb. Deviations from this have to be carefully considered. I actually used to do more of this. I don't do as much. I think we did this 2 years ago, was it? Who knows? Was that the first 2 years ago? Okay. Yeah, so that's how serious that is, though. You don't go to conferences. You don't do coffees. You don't do all that crap. You talk with customers and you make your product better based on what they tell you. Okay. So, the money slide, literally. See that? See what I did there? I don't know if you can see it, but basically, there's certain stages, revenue, investment things that all kind of map together. And this comes down to something I was actually talking about with someone earlier. Hey, here's this company, they're asking for $6 million or whatever. Like, should they be? Like, where are they? And there's a couple of, if you're going to remember a couple of points. One is the Series A. $1 million in revenue or more. 1 to 3 million in revenue, growing, 200 to 500% per year. That's what a Series A looks like. That's here. okay? That's like, and after that, and there's a very small number of companies get there, raise that money. This is where the investable stuff is. Friends and family, pre-seed, seed. You're talking about outside money. So you gotta have specs, minimum. You gotta be able to tell me why you know you're making something people want. And it can't be because I have this great idea, right? We've covered that. That can be pre-revenue if it's a really big, important thing, but it really kind of needs to have revenue. You need to get orders for whatever it is. You gotta have users, whether it's users or paying customers, depending on what the industry is, right? And there's the valuations. Just kind of rough numbers, but if you've got an idea and you want to raise $20 million, that's another deadly sin. Don't come in here looking for a valuation here. Looks really dumb, right? Really bad. This will probably want to circulate afterwards, maybe, but this is, based on data. It's probably a year old or so, but the bar keeps moving this way, by the way. When I first did a startup in '99, we did our first money in was a Series A, it was called at the time, and it was $1 million at a pre-money of $4 million, valuation of $4 million. So not like this, but it was this Series A. So that's why as a joke, someone created the idea of pre-seed. Well, what's pre-seed? Well, I don't know. Seed's now like a company that's pretty far along, so we need a description for that. And before pre-seed is like friends and family now. It's weird. But the bar keeps moving because it's gotten so much easier to build stuff and sell it to people. We spent $1 million before we could actually do a prototype back in 1999. Now you can do it in an afternoon with all the tools that are out there, if it's software especially. Okay, questions about this at all, by the way?
Sorry, what does AAR stand for again?
Oh, thank you. Annual recurring revenue. Great question. So in software, that's the money, your annual subscription. Annual money you're going to get from your customers over time.
Is that run rate or?
That is annual run rate. Yeah. There's also MRR, which is monthly recurring revenue. Okay. And if different businesses, just think of it as like, what's my annual revenue? But for software, that's like the core number. Other questions? That was a great one because I did an acronym and that's bad. Okay. So finally, pitch deck. By the way, the go-to-market, I have to bring this up. So I'm supposed to talk about go-to-market. Now, if you've been listening to me, you're already in the market, right? You better be in the market from before day one. So what's go-to-market mean? Well, so it's kind of it's a funny phrase. It's been around for a while. It's like, well, I'm going to build this thing and then I'm going to go to market. That's horrible. That's like the worst idea ever. Okay, but let's give it the charitable interpretation because we're doing this right now at Flashbook. We built something. We spent a little longer than we should have making sure it's something people really want and love. Now how are we going to tell about it? So the Y Combinator translation is you have 2 stages to your business. Number 1, make something people want. Okay? After you've done that, step 2, tell them about it. Right? Let them know you exist. That's what we're figuring out right now at Flashbook. And the magic thing is, when are you ready to go from step 1 to step 2? And Sam Altman has this great post. It's everything they've learned digested into a single blog post. It's called the Startup Playbook or something. So there's only one thing you read after today. Read Sam Altman Startup Playbook. It's got all of the pithy little stuff built into one thing. Step 1, make something people want. You know you're ready to tell people about your product when you have users spontaneously recommending your product to other users. That's when your product's good enough to tell them about it. How's that sound? It's a high bar, but it makes sense, right? Okay. And if you try another common mistake, well, we got to make this, but we got to sell it, but it's probably not good enough. So your customers are selling it for you. All of our customers basically come from referrals and people that I've met at conferences so far. Right? But when you're sitting there at a conference and one of your customers comes up and just takes over the conversation and starts telling the person, oh, you got to use this, it's great because it does this and this, and you just shut up and watch. Like that's when you know that. I remember when that happened. Okay, we're there now. right? But we weren't when we started, and we weren't a year after we started. But by constant iteration and improving and embedding with the customers and going to their offices and watching their face, hey, what do you think about this? I don't know, it's stupid. Okay, what is it? What do you wish it could do? It's clearly not doing what you want to do right now, right? Okay. So, this is my deliberate acronym slide. This is saying, if you only had one slide to explain to an investor, what would you put on it? Who knows what LTV means? Okay. Who knows what CAC is?
Lifetime value of customer acquisition.
Lifetime value of a customer. Not revenue, profit. Okay? So how much is a customer worth when they're acquired to me over the expected life of that customer? And what's this? Customer acquisition cost. What does it cost to acquire that customer? This is, so to those companies that grew big, this makes sense. If I can acquire a customer for $100 and that customer is worth $300 to me, did I just describe like a money machine, right? Put in $1 and get 3. That's even better than selling dollar bills for 95 cents, isn't it? Right? Maybe? Okay, this is the whole engine. Greater than 3 is the rule of thumb for investable software, for example. But in general, this applies for any business. You can figure it out. And I was just talking with a friend who's got a startup, and we said, hey, he's like, well, you know, I already have, I can acquire customers. What's your customer worth? Well, my customer is worth this now. What does it cost to acquire? I don't know, right? Well, how do I do that? Well, figure how much time it costs you, how much time it takes, how many interactions, what kind of advertising, all that stuff. It all goes in, and it's $1. What you're looking for is something you can replicate at scale. So there's some things you can't. For example, like us going to conferences, maybe there's only 12 a year that we could go to. We have a great LTV to CAC ratio on those. We spend $1,000, we get a customer worth $5 or something, right? But I can't then do it 10 times more. So that's the trick, is how do you get to the scalable CAC? Yes?
Use the number of 3. Is that a widely recognized?
3 is widely recognized as now you're interesting to an investor, right? It also works if you're calculating like what does a salesperson have to pay for themselves, or whatever. That's the general idea. 5, 10, all great. And the lifetime value, you're gonna have to take guesses maybe early on, but this is so you don't waste your time too. It's kind of like, I don't know if you know the rule for like a hard product. If I'm gonna sell you this thing, I've got to make it for 10 to 20% of the cost. In other words, I have to mark it up 5x to 10x for it to be a business. It's a big number, not a small number. Okay. So we have $40 million in pre-orders. That would be a good one-slide pitch, right? Our LTV CAC is 5. Do you want to know more? Is basically the point of the pitch, right? What do you do? Okay. We're growing 10% per week. So Paul Graham, when he created the definition of startup, it was a startup can grow is a business that can grow 5 to 7% per week. All right? Yeah, is it gasping, laughing? No, that's for real. Again, these are very high bars. So that's, 5% is like doubling every quarter. So, here's, again, we're growing 30% per month. Okay? By the way, these can be from very small numbers. But basically, if you go into that program and say, hey, make sure you go in with a guy I met at 20 customers and said, okay, your job, you have one job. When you leave here on demo day, you need to have 50 customers. That's it. We're doubling sales every quarter. That's about 5%. Per week. Right? You should be able to do this from early numbers, small numbers early on as a goal. Figure out how to get there. What does good look like? This is what good looks like. Is that helpful? Like a good looks like? Or great looks like? Okay, cool. So, to the mechanics of the pitch. Let me pause for questions real quick, though. Any other questions so far? trying to tell you the same thing 20 different ways. You probably figured that out. There's the other thing from Paul Graham says, our job is to give startups advice, their job is to ignore it. So the simplest pitch, again, what's the point of a pitch? It's to get them to be interested, to ask you questions, to give a crap, right? It's not to tell them your life story. It's not to tell them everything. It's just like, be interesting. Like in a cold call, hey, the reason I'm calling you is we've helped companies like yours increase sales 40% in 3 months. You know, is that something of interest to you? Probably, right? Okay, but you don't need to know how they're going to do it or anything else. That's kind of like the one-slide pitch. I have a business that's growing really fast. Oh, okay, what do you do? What is it? So the simple elevator pitch is, what do you do? What's the market? What's your traction? You got to be able to answer this. Anyone heard the famous SpaceX pitch? Elon Musk, SpaceX? Launch costs haven't gone down in years. With SpaceX, we could drop them 90%. You want to learn more? That's the test. That's the test for anything you do. This works, it's not just like in person, it's in emails, it's in anything else. What do you do? What's the market? What's your traction, right? And then that next level, because you know your customer really well, it's like, what are the bullets that make them buy? There was a question about pitching to your customer. You're going to find out how to pitch to your customer by asking your customer. I have 2 favorite questions that I've learned from people when talking with a customer. Once you get a customer, you can ask them, hey, what nearly prevented you from buying my product? It's a ninja question. They're going to tell you what happened. Like, what were they concerned about, what they didn't trust, what they didn't believe, right? And then you can reinforce that. Okay, so you're going to get these from your customer. The other question is, how would you explain this to a colleague? Right? Every time I do this, I get something that's like, oh, well, it's short automated scientific community surveys. Oh, of course, that's what we do. Not whatever the hell I was going to tell you, right? These come from your customer. And this is an important phrase also. What makes your pupils dilate? That's why you need to see them in person. Is it a nice to have? Is it a vitamin that everyone talks about and no one takes? Or is it like, oh yeah, I need that right now? Painkiller. Your foot hurts? This toe? Is this the toe that hurts? This one? What, you want a painkiller? Right? And then when they, I think it was Twitter that figured this out, or Facebook, the magic moment. Like, what's the point that they have interacted with your product where if you took it away, they would fight you? Right? The magic moment. Or where you really start to engage. In Twitter, what they realize is, like, until you have like 12 followers or something, you know, people that get 12 followers continue using the product forever. And if they don't, so they actually kind of make you get to the point where you're following 12 people or whatever it is, right? That's the magic moment. Like for us, it's doing a first survey. You sign up, you want to do it, but you got to get them to the point where they actually do the first survey, see the results, and they go, whoa, I can do other stuff with this. I get it, right? This is if you have answers to these things, that's your pitch. If you don't have answers to these things, go get answers to these things. Okay. And probably, if you haven't heard of Andreessen Horowitz, Mark Andreessen was a Netscape co-founder, and Horowitz was someone who worked with him. But basically, the primary thing that any technology startup must do is build a product that's at least 10 times better at doing something. 2 or 3 times better will not be good enough to get people to switch. People are lazy. 10% better. Is it really? Do I have to test it to find, right? Again, this is what great looks like. This is what good looks like, or great. Just so as you think about that. And if you keep striving towards it, you know, the relentless pursuit of excellence, Al Davis, or Lexus, or both, right? That's your directional thing you're doing. And the closer you get, the easier everything else is. Okay. And if you want to get inside the brain of the investor, this is great as a talk. Like I talked about these X factors. Like how many X factors do you have? You don't have to have all of them. But your team, like why you? Why are you doing this? Oh, I happen to be the world's expert in this. I've been working on it for 30 years. Okay, great, right? Oh, I just thought it'd be a cool idea, so me and my buddy figured we'll do it. We've never done it before. Very different, right? So domain expertise and technology wizardry. You know, I'm the guy that invented blank. Then traction, that's where you're, growing average selling price. Prices are going up. People are renewing. In fact, maybe they're going up enough. Well, people are dropping out that you're making net positive revenue from your renewals. Rapid quarterly growth. Traction. Can't fake traction that much unless you're selling 95-cent dollar bills. But that gets into this. Market size. Bottom up. Anyone ever said like, oh, I'm got this $3 billion market we're going after? What's the problem with that? How many of those $3 billion of customers already bought something? Or already buying something? All of them. That's not your market. You got to explain why some portion of those are going to jump to your product because it's 10x better or whatever else it is, right? Or show them doing that. Then you build up from that. Oh, well, the profile of the person that buys my product is this. And there's 1,000 more like this and 10 million like this. So that's bottom up, 10x better. Business model we've covered. LTV and CAC. And then rating customers. So they look, how many of these boxes can they check? Right? And depending on the type of business, maybe you can't check all of them. But aspirationally, businesses that gets funded, huge valuations, they fly along. It's not because they had a good pitch or a charismatic person telling the story. It's because these things, which are indicators like, of course it's going to work. We're going to fight over investing into it, right? Because the investors are lazy and greedy. Don't Make Me Think. It's a great book, by the way. Don't Make Me Think for web design. Don't give me 2 buttons. Give me 1 button. That's all I got. Okay. So that's all my slides. Let's see. I'm going to fly back to the beginning, make sure we cover these questions. Other questions while we're looking at this? Reactions. I'm the doomsayer, right? It's all just depressing. Yes?
Is there a limit of slides? Because, because some of these things, it's like, it takes forever. They put every thought they've ever had in their mind.
Yeah, it's awful. Don't ever do that. That's a deadly sin of pitching. No one cares. So Y Combinator has 2 examples. They have a seed deck and a demo day deck, and their resources. Just copy it. So really like 50 points, back of the room can see it, and 1 point. Yes?
There's actually 2 different things. There's actually a demo deck, and then there's this guy's ideas on what the style of your deck should be.
Yes. And they have a seed deck too.
To everybody who schedules a pitch with us, and nobody reads it.
Nobody reads it, right? Which, by the way, if I say, hey, do this, and you don't do it, why should I talk with you? Forget about giving you money. I'm not talking with you, right? I mean, it's like, you want a deadly sin? And by the way, if I say something, hey, you guys should do X, because I think you should do X, you should look at me like that guy is a freaking moron. Did my customer tell me to do that? Or did he happen to think it was a cool idea? Go test it. Maybe it's a good idea, but he doesn't know. There's a lot of sins of investors too. I think you should do this. He's not coachable. Well, his customers are telling him to do this. Would you like to coach him away from what his customers tell him to do? You're an idiot. Stop talking, right? You're not qualified to be an investor. Yeah, so, it's a 2-sided thing. By the way, there's a lot of crappy investors out there too. Ideally, you're looking for someone who, has some kind of irrational affinity for what you're doing. And people can get investment for crappy businesses. I mean, look at Theranos. They can go on for a long time, but there's other examples like the juice maker and stuff like that, right? It's like, this is so cool. It's so cool. We're all going to invest in it because it's really cool. Does anyone want to buy it? No. So investment is not a perfect proxy for is this company any good by any stretch. All those other things are. And you notice one of those check boxes was not, they have investment from other people. It just doesn't work. Yes?
What's the best way to get into the door to make the pitch to investors?
Well, I think the best way is personal referral. You probably heard, right? And that's, again, it's one of these bars. It's like, I think Brad Feld does this test with people, and Boulder, it's like, hey, I want to help, I want to get involved. Okay, do this one simple thing. Half of them don't do it. You're immediately eliminated. So, entrepreneurs who they already invested in, people they've invested with, all that stuff. And it's not easy necessarily. It's gotten a little easier. I think one of the cool things about Y Combinator is you don't have to know anyone there. That's why they set it up that way. But the bar is extremely high for that also. Usually you need help before that. And the other thing would be like, hey, I work with a company and we have $40 million in pre-orders. Do you want to talk? So again, you can see the power of the story there. All right, anyone else on that one? All right, so how do big companies get big without? A lot of them stumble onto something. So I have a really good friend who, we've talked about this, he has no idea how to start a startup systematically. But he happened to sell one for like $100 million. Whoa, how's that work, right? So he started working on something, a problem, and he solved it, and he put it out for people. And within a year, he was doing $200,000 in revenue a month. And just kept growing. You just, okay. Sometimes you just nail it without doing a lot of customer discovery. But it's kind of like, you can win the lottery too. It's not an investment strategy. Shouldn't be. But you can say, well, so-and-so won the lottery. Yes, they did. Okay, that's the difference. It can happen, but you don't want to. So companies can get big. The reality is, though, all these companies, they made this thing and it took off. Facebook grew 12% a week. Holy crap, but it wasn't linear. It's like this and then like this, right? As they figure stuff out, and how do we get more users? How do we move beyond college students? How do we move, right? Same thing with Airbnb. I think we've rented all the air mattresses we can find. Okay, how about rooms with beds? Yeah, rooms with beds. Awesome. Hey, I think the story is like some like Rolling Stones or someone was like, hey, can we rent a house without the person being there? I guess you could, huh? Right? No, literally, like these things are not linear. But if you keep iterating, keep listening to your customer, keep solving more and more valuable problems for them, yeah, you can get big. And reality is that's usually what happens. There's no magic. I'm simplifying my friends here. They learned a lot, improved stuff, changed stuff. But it was quick. So what to fix in a pitch? Ultimately, if you don't have the answers to those questions, you got to have the answers to those questions. That's really it. Make it so compelling I can't walk away. Probably heard FOMO, fear of missing out. When it's kind of like, how do I get a deal going? Which is getting someone really interested to be a lead. And then at the end, it's like, hey, we've only got 50,000 left. We're closing next week. We'd love to have you in, but we've got a backlog of people that we're talking with, right? You got to give them a move, like checks. That's the same idea. So you got to make sure that your pitch is something they see and they don't want to let go of it because it's so interesting. Either to them personally, if it's super early stage, almost like a quasi-friend, or it's just like, wow, this is going to take off. I don't want to miss that launch. I do want to, it looks like you're going to the moon. I would like to go to the moon. Yeah, so we're leaving tomorrow. Oh, I'll call me next week. No, we're leaving tomorrow. And we're really going to leave, and we're really going to the moon, right? That's what has to come through. So breaking the norm. This is kind of an interesting thing. Basically, the rule of thumb with breaking a norm is don't, if Y Combinator says to do it. There's certainly different cases. Different businesses are different. Different industries are different. There's certain things you can't do in biotech that you can do in software, you can do in other stuff. But, if you're going to break the norm, you got to have a really, really, really good reason. That's the thing. And you got to know why it's a really, really, really good reason. One of the things people try to do is not put information in a slide deck. I mentioned, you tell me you're going to do these 6 things, I immediately know that you don't know what the hell you should be doing. Right? If you don't put your traction in there, I know it's crap. Right? So when you try to break norms by not putting in stuff or putting in stuff, the good investor is just going to be like, well, I'm looking for this. And where is this? Where is this? So that's the way I think about the norms. Like the norms are, you got to have this basic stuff. If you want to iterate around that, that's fine. You got a very interesting story to tell about how you got into it and why and what you learned. I mean, that's interesting too. But I've seen people do things like, hey, we're going to give, our profits away, some of our profits away to a nonprofit. Like no one gives a crap. Go make $1 billion and you can give a ton of money to profit, right? But that's not primary. Shouldn't be primary to you, isn't primary to the investor. Okay, deadly sins of pitching. Yeah, I think we've covered a bunch. Don't be long. Don't be wordy. Don't make me think. Keep it simple. The early stage story. Do you have a good sense on that now? Like you've got your app. Okay, so you got to embed with your customers. What do they like about it? Not like. You're going to find all the problems with it. Get rid of them all. But first, make sure that even if you do solve all those problems, that it's awesome, right? What would it take for you to spontaneously, what would this thing have to do for you to spontaneously go tell 10 of your friends tomorrow?
Yeah, I like that, what you said, the little ninja question.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, same thing, Sam Altman, these guys are all, they've seen so much stuff, they're so smart. He's like, look, here's how you knew something was taking off, like the iPhone, people were on it all day. He says, here's how I know virtual reality is not happening right now. People use it, but they're not on it all day. Right? Didn't become it's like Facebook, they're on it all the time, So that behavior is really important to kind of figure it out. Is a private investor real? We talked about, hey, tell me about your last 4 checks you wrote. What size check? I was like, oh, what size check do you write? Right? If they don't want to answer it, or they don't, it's kind of like your pitch deck. Well, I don't want to answer that. Well, I don't want to tell you my traction. Stupid. If you're an actual investor, you write checks, you talk about that. Solo founder advice. So the simplest advice is find a co-founder. Yeah, it's not nice, right? But no, it really is. Make sure you have help, whatever it is. The idea of a co-founder is someone who's super motivated to do crazy stuff for no money, like you, right? So that's not the easiest to find. It's more like a marriage than a date, for sure. But if you can, focus on your customers and get stuff done without it, a Dropbox guy was solo. That worked out okay. There's examples, but I think people will tell you the main reason to have a co-founder. This is the reason I've always done it, is because I can't code anymore. Right, you got business and tech. That's the ideal co-founder setup. But also it's a psychological thing. A startup is 2 steps forward and 1 kick in the nuts. Yeah. And you just need that, we just got this new customer. Oh my God, we just got, it's this all the time. And having that group, whether it's co-founders or just close coworkers, is awesome. Celebrate the successes, keep you on an even keel though. That would be the advice there. And, Y Combinator has written about everything on this list. The complex product, I talked a little bit about it. You gotta, if it's too early for them, it's too early. My first startup was too early, it turns out. It was 1999, and we figured out the math didn't make sense on Webvan and e-toys and all that crap. Buy online from local stores, 1999. I had a VC who I knew from the startup I was working at. He said, why would people go to stores? And I was like, because 99% of them do every day, right? But it was a weird case where the mindset was projecting this way, and it was way ahead of what people could do that was useful. So I have somewhere in my house, I have the first online order from a local store in March of 2000. It's a stuffed monkey. But a little ahead of its time, unfortunately. Didn't work. Everyone's doing it now. Groupon came out of that whole thing, as again, the online-offline connection. But if you're really making something super compelling, you'll get to it. You won't have to overeducate. We have a product like that. You know, a lot of people are like, why do I need that? One of our customers said, well, it's kind of like a smartphone. You go, why do I need that to make calls? But then once you start using it, you go, how did I live without it? Right? That's another way to describe that magic moment. It makes it a little trickier. But you got to make sure there actually is that magic moment, and then those people are spontaneously recommending it. That's how you get around that circle, perhaps. Mission and value. So mission and value, this is like, there's a great post, and again by Sam Altman, called Fake Work. It's just things like meeting with lawyers and working on mission statements and crap like that. It's like, just make something people want. That's your job, right? No, none of that. No, I mean, it's important to you and, you know, to understand so you're aligned on what you're doing. You know, we've talked about this in the last year. Our goal is to help local governments make great decisions for the public, with the public. That's okay. But that's about as much time we spend on that. Yeah, you want everything to be aligned because that's what you want to do part of it. But don't let what you want to do steer away from what the customers want. Or know that you're paying a penalty. If you want to do what you want to do to the detriment of what the customer wants, you're going to pay a cost. Know it. Accept that or not. Or get rid of it if you can. Okay. That was that. So anyone want to do any role playing on pitching? We've got 10 minutes left. Or do you want to leave early?
I want to see somebody pitch.
Who wants to leave early? You don't need David's permission. All right, so who wants to give me an elevator pitch?
Julie, you're going to pitch in a couple hours. Why didn't you go?
Well, I have all my slides on the slide. Do you have the slides?
You don't need slides. Elevator pitch. What did I say? Hold on. I'm gonna make it real clear. Anyone else? Oops. Oh, by the way, there's a lot of resources in the area. This is one I was asked to show. Tahoe Pitch Camp and Showcase. I'm in Tahoe, but you know, Startup NV.
That's actually a Truckee.
That one's in Truckee. Yeah, this is for up the hill people. But I promised Ellen I'd show it. So. Yeah, there you go. Okay. What do you do? What's the market? What's your traction? Let's do it.
Okay.
Cool. Just stand up, do it.
Okay, so what we do is we do employee financial literacy benefits. We found that over $300 billion a year is lost in employees working on their personal finances at work. Believe it or not, it is not just the minimum wage entry level. It is upper management making over $200,000 a year as well.
Okay, what was missing in that one? What was in that one? Thank you.
What she does.
What she does. What's the market, problem, opportunity, right? Whatever. What wasn't in there?
No, you were doing this. I thought I only had to do, I thought you're counting down to what I was supposed to do.
Oh, I was checking you off. Sorry, I needed a checkbox. Did you finish?
So, our
You got two.
traction is, we have been doing this for 7 years. We started as a nonprofit. We've now converted it into a for-profit. Well, it's a different business, so I won't say that part. But we only use certified financial planners and advisors. You are getting professional advice.
Still waiting. What's your traction? How many of you sold it to who?
What's the traction? Oh, I just sold one, literally. I just sold one last week for $50,000.
All right. Okay, so if I only heard one thing, so what are your sales so far?
What are my sales so far? I have commitments. I have to go into Silicon Valley next week. I'm sitting down with 3 C-level executives.
I'm still waiting.
Oh, okay.
What are your sales?
What are my sales?
Yes, how much have you sold?
I expect them to be $200,000 a month.
Okay, wrong. Good. What are your sales? How much have you sold so far?
Yeah, first sale, $15,000.
Oh, you did your first sale.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, so there you go. So all right, so let me spit back your elevator pitch quickly. So what do we do? So we've come up with financial literacy packages for employers that employees love. The big problem is there's $300 billion wasted every year on this. X dollars per person. Break it down into something that actually is more attainable. And we just sold our first 50,000 contract yesterday, and there's 10,000 more like it in the U.S. Anyone want to hear more? Not bad, right? There you go. The key was this, though. Because until you get to that, I don't know if anyone gives a shit about this. I don't know what you're talking about. Sam, I've made it so far. Hold on. Sorry about that. You're smiling though. Okay, sorry about that. I'm from New England. We use the word like salt. So
Sometimes it's the technical term.
it's a technical term. There's but this tells me there's something there. Traction, right? Who else? Who's got one? You got one. Great.
So I'm Dan Paul of Masquerade Media Inc. We do games for female mobile game players. Currently, the market is that 65% of the gamer space on mobile is women. We focus on the story-based romance-themed games, which are extremely popular right now. I've teamed up with John Paul, who's the #1 cover artist in the industry for romance books. And our current traction is that we've released 2 products. We are currently doing soft launch. We have soft launch on 2 products, and we are doing market testing and analytics on these 2 products to test user traction. We've done about 1,000 downloads with a little under $400.
Okay. So there you go. That got to the numbers, right? Don't dance around the numbers. That was good. Thank you. So you can sharpen that up, right? What do? We do mobile games for females, who are 65% of the mobile game market. Romance-based stories are growing, 20% a year in this segment, and we've teamed up with a leading story writer and launched our first product, which has 1,000 downloads in 1 month or whatever, right? So a little sharper, but there's something happening there. I want to learn more, right? We've doubled our downloads per week, and you know what I mean? Like really micro. We've added 15% more games every week. Doesn't matter, it's a small base, but it shows there's something happening, something there. Could be big, right? Okay, cool, let's get another one, thanks.
Renee, why don't you talk about your products?
Oh, come on.
Because it's a hard good.
Come on, that's
This is the point, this is a safe space.
I know it's a safe space. I've obviously gotten up and done this a couple of times, but yeah, I mean, where I'm conflicted is that I have 2 brands and 1 corporate structure. One is 10 years old and one other one's brand new.
No one cares about brands or corporate structure. What do you do for people? What are you making?
I make cooling accessories for hot women.
Cooling accessories for hot women. Okay. So there's another twist on this, right? What do? Do I know what she makes yet? Not quite. Good. So what do you actually make?
I make cooling accessories. So
I don't know what that means.
Cooling.
Explain it to me like I'm your grandmother.
Grandma, remember when you
dumb.
were going through menopause and had hot flashes?
Yes.
Okay, well, I make a cooling scarf that when you get it wet or sweat on it, it's going to make you feel a lot better.
Who knows what she makes now? That was terrific. That's exactly it, right? We're kind of like, well, we're in the world global software domination market. What the heck do you do? Just tell me what you do. Tell me what you do for people. That was awesome. That was a great description, right? So what do? Well, we make cooling scarves for menopausal women. The market's huge.
And it grows every year.
and how much are you growing? So yeah, so what is I'll do this interview style. So what's the market? How big, who's your market?
So the market in the US, there are over, so if in the US alone, there are 40 million women who are in a 4-year phase of menopause, according to Mayo Clinic. So that's, late 40s, early 50s, basically.
Okay, perfect. So that would be a simple way to explain it. Great.
Right.
Yeah. And then how many have you sold? Scarves.
We've done about $9,000 in revenue so far.
Okay.
Since the beginning of the year.
So the beginning, perfect. I was going to say, now what's the time frame?
Yeah.
Okay, and is it growing per month?
Yes.
How much is it growing per month?
I don't know the percentage. I just got back from vacation.
Okay. It didn't grow as much when you were on vacation.
No, it didn't. My order still came in, so that was good.
Good.
No
Well,
effort.
Yeah.
And
all right, so you're advanced. So we're going to go, what's your customer acquisition cost?
Okay, so that I actually don't know yet.
Okay, but you're going to figure it out,
But
right?
I am, and that's
awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you very much. So one of the neat things about, I love entrepreneurs. I was an engineer originally, and entrepreneurs are usually pretty freaking smart, right? And so sometimes they just don't know how to tell the story. That's why we're here, right? So what's in there? In a couple of questions, you go, Oh, yeah, I mean, we're growing 20% a week. Why, is that important? Seriously. Right? Oh, well, customers love our product. I'm recruiting sales VP, right? Well, why should he believe anything I say? People really like our product, okay. I'm underselling it actually. They really freaking love the product, but I actually hadn't thought about it as clearly until we started asking questions. What do people do about this? What about this or this, right? So ask yourself these questions. How do I know X? How do I know people want this? How do I know people love it? How do I know what they want me to do instead? That kind of thing. And if you do that, you'll pull it out of yourself. You'll pull out that story. And it'll be a great story, as good as it can be. All right, 1:29. I'm finishing a minute early.
Okay.
Good with that?
Yeah.
All right.
Great as usual, Kevin. Not a
Thanks for
surprise.
saying so.
Oh, yeah.
You never know.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay. All right, so I'm in the feedback business. What did you like least? It's my last ninja question. Serious.
Yeah, that it ended.
That it ended. Good, that it's over. That's very nice. Caught me off guard. I wasn't ready for that one. No, but that's another great question, right? People are too nice when you interview them. What did you like least? They'll tell you, eliminate. Perfect. Thank you very much.
Yeah, even if they just have to think about what that
Exactly.
is.
Exactly. And if they say no, great.
So I want to thank you all for coming. Thank you, Kevin, for doing wasteful things, talking and inspiring other people.
Periodically, you have to.
Thank you. Next month, we're going to have Alice Hyman, and she's going to talk about how to do a trade show makeover for your company. Okay, so that'll be August 14th, same place, same time.